Hey guys, welcome to 8.5 day 2. We're just doing another day of graphing exponentials, but there's going to be a couple different things that might pop up. So, number one, let's do it. So same thing, let's plug these values into our table. All right, so we have 2. Now, in today's graphs, we're going to have extra numbers outside, but it doesn't really affect how you do the table, so it's not really going to be any harder. Just make sure that you keep this in parentheses, and then we have our fraction of 1/2, close the parenthesis, and then just make sure you type it in right. If you forget the parentheses, it's going to be wrong, so be really careful. First, we're plugging in -2, and we get 8. Okay, now we're doing it again and plugging in -1. And I want to show you guys a trick. Instead of retyping it all over again, you can go up to it and hit enter. And then just move your arrow to change the -2 into a -1. And then if you hit enter, see, it's kind of nice you don't have to retype it in. And now when we're plugging in 0, same thing. We could just go up to it, hit enter, and then turn the -1 into a 0. Now, you might have to delete the negative, and then you can just make a 0. So you might have to delete some stuff. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, anything to the 0 power is 1, but then you have a 2. So what's 2 times 1? That's how we got 2. All right, let's go back and change the 0 into a 1 now, and we get 1. And then let's go back and change the exponent into a 2, and we get 1/2. Now, do you guys want to use 1/2, or do you want to write it as a decimal 0.5? Either one's fine. All right, let's graph. We got -2, 8. That's here. We got -1, 4. We got 0, 2. We got 1, 1. And we got 2, 1/2. All right, now remember that rule that it's never going to cross 0. And just connect the dots, and this is a decay. All right, let's do one with a negative sign. Do you guys have any idea what the negative sign does? Maybe think about it, but we'll find out together. All right, let's plug our numbers in. All right, so we got a -2, parenthesis, 2, parenthesis. All right, now let's plug in our exponent of -2. And for this first one, we get -0.5. All right, well, this one's easy to just keep typing in. -2, parenthesis 2. Now we're raising it to the -1. That one we get -1. And then you could do that thing where you just edit it, or you could just keep typing it in. Whatever you guys like better. -2, parenthesis 2. Now we're raising it to the 0 power. We get -2. All right, -2, parenthesis 2. Now we're raising it to the 1 power. And that's -4. And then lastly, we have -2, parenthesis 2. And now we're raising it to the 2nd power. And that one is -8. All right, let's plot those points. So -2, -1/2. -1, -1. 0, -2. 1, -4. And 2, -8. Okay, this is our first one that's down here. Turns out a negative sign just flips it over. It's still never going to cross 0. You're never going to cross 0, but now since the graph got flipped, you're going to connect the dots, and it's going to be a curve down here. Okay, so just a heads up, when you get a negative sign, it's going to flip it down here. All right, guys, that's, let's do one more. We'll do one more. Because this one, yeah, let's do this one. All right, well, you know it's negative, so you know it's going to be flipped down here. Let's plug in these points. Okay, now something to be really careful of, guys, is the negative has to be outside of the parenthesis. Okay, so you type it in like that. Negative is on the outside of the parenthesis, and it really matters. First, we're raising it to the negative 2 power, and you get negative 9. All right, now I'm going to go up and edit it, and I'm going to turn the negative 2 now into a negative 1, and we should get negative 3. And then I'm going to go edit it, and I'm going to delete the negative sign and make it a 0. And that gives us negative 1. Okay, and then I'm going to go up and edit the 0 power to a 1 power. And now we get negative 1/3, or if you turn that into a decimal, remember how to do that? If you'd rather graph it as negative 0.3 repeating, whatever you like better. Okay, now I'm going to go back and edit it, and the power of 1 is now going to be a 2. Now we get negative 1/9, but if you don't like that, you don't have to do that. Hit Math, option 2, turn it into a decimal. It's negative 0.1 repeating. Whatever you guys like better. All right, let's graph. We know this one's going to be all negative. Negative 2 comma negative 9. Negative 1 comma negative 3. 0 comma negative 1. 1 comma negative 0.3. And 2 comma negative 0.1. Remember, it's never going to cross 0. So it's going to look like that. All right, awesome, guys. Video's done. Your homework is to finish number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so you're just going to finish the rest of the homework problems. All right, thanks for watching, guys.